experience.
No, I've been in the city. I don't know.
No, the city. Born and here.
Someone to be here. I should have told you much earlier. I really remember.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Today is Monday, October 27th, 2025. The time is now 6:01 in the evening. We are here at the Mesilla Town Hall for our regularly scheduled Board of Trustees meeting. The first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our business is roll call and determination of a quorum. Laura, if you would please.
Mayor Hernandez,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, Trustee Cadena, present, Trustee Nevares,
Present.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Great, thank you. And Trustee Johnson Burek did let me know that she is out sick and will not be joining us this evening, unfortunately. So we wish her for a speedy recovery. Next item on the agenda is approval and any changes to the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Trustee Nevares, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick. And unless there's discussion or objection, the motion will carry as it's been presented. Thank you for approval of our agenda as it has been presented. Next up on the agenda is approval of the consent agenda, which does include BOT meeting minutes for October 14th, 2025 for our regular scheduled meeting. Can I have a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Trustee Nevares, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick. And there again, unless there's discussion or objection, the motion will carry as it has been presented. Thank you for approval of our consent agenda, which does include the BOT meeting minutes for October 14th, 2025. Next item on the agenda is public input on the cases that are being heard this evening. If any of the public has input to be given on the cases, please step to the podium and state your name for the record. No public input? Okay. Next item on the agenda is a presentation, No Minor Sale Campaign. So.
Is this where we speak? Great. Well, first of all, thank you so much to the members of the board and the mayor. We really appreciate your time in allowing us to do this presentation. My name is Andrea McNeely, and I am the campaign manager for No Minor Sale. And I actually have one of our young adult or youth advocates who will actually be leading this presentation. It's a really great opportunity for young individuals like himself to practice his public speaking and leadership skills. So I really want him to kind of take the stage. And I'll just be here for support and to answer any questions at the end of the presentation. So feel free to hold those until then. And just to give you a little bit of background, but he's mostly going to explain this. The reason why we're here is because we know that there's a problem with youth access to nicotine products still to this day. We'll go into more details of what that looks like. And our main goal is really to try to end the illegal sale of those products to youth, because youth are the future generation and they're being targeted with these products. And ultimately, we just want to make sure that we end that sale so that we can protect youth from lifelong nicotine dependence. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Diego. He'll introduce himself and he'll take over the presentation. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Diego Romero. I attend NMSU and I've been an advocate for No Minor Sale for 5 years. Next slide, please. So this is a little bit of an overview of what we'll be talking about today. First, I'll introduce to you the campaign and our goals, and then I'll explain why we are concerned about nicotine products within our youth, and then I'll talk to you how you can help support us and our campaign. Next slide, please, and next one too. So first of all, we want to make a clear line between commercial tobacco and traditional tobacco. During this presentation, we'll discuss nicotine and tobacco products. I like to note that No Minor Sale is talking about commercial tobacco instead of traditional tobacco. We understand the importance of traditional tobacco within our communities, and that we're not here to tell you what to do. We're mostly here to educate you about commercial tobacco and stuff like that. Next slide, please. So what is No Minor Sale? No Minor Sale is a campaign that educates community members through advocacy campaigns with the goal to reduce the sale of nicotine products to minors. Our goal is to reduce the sale of these products to minors under the age of 21. And this is required by law and is ultimately meant to protect our youth within our communities. Next slide, please. So these are some of our campaign objectives. We include 3 main campaign objectives, which include increasing awareness of marketing tactics used to target youth and other vulnerable groups, generate strong concerns statewide, and to build and support policies that protect youth, like nicotine flavor restrictions. Next slide. So who supports No Minor Sale? One of the programs that supports No Minor Sale is a group called Evolvement. These are our statewide youth advocates. I was actually a part of Evolvement not too long ago. This is where high school students are trained to become youth advocates and present all over the state, just like I am doing today. They've presented to 5,000 plus high school students since they started in 2010. And then there's also the Adult Volunteer Program, which I'm currently a part of. The volunteer program is open to any New Mexican 18 years old or older. We've also trained 60 volunteers since 2018. Yes, fall. So next slide, please. So now we're going to discuss why we're concerned about flavored nicotine. Next slide. So as you can see, these are 2 kind of examples. On the left, you have like ads of products that you see in our everyday life, and then on the right, you have nicotine products. You can see how similar they are and how kids might be drawn to like actually want to use these products because they're so colorful and wow, I want to play with it. Tobacco companies know this and try to get people hooked early so they become lifelong customers. And they create colorful ads and fun flavored products to appeal to younger audiences, and their main goal is profit, and addiction is a key part of their marketing strategy. Next slide. So the issue is predatory marketing and flavors. According to the 2024 National Youth Tobacco Surveys, among youth who vape, about 88% use flavored e-cigarettes. Popular flavors include like sweet mint and menthol and fruits and candies and desserts. 7 states and over 400 local governments across the country have addressed this issue by restricting flavored nicotine. And that means New Mexico can also take steps to protecting our community and making a huge difference. Next step. So these are some key statistics about menthol. Another flavor we are concerned about is menthol. It is one of the last remaining flavors in combustible cigarettes, and it's harder to quit. Menthol is naturally found in peppermint and can also be produced in labs. Like I said, it's the last remaining flavor and is heavily all of the flavors were banned back in 2009. This was over 15 years ago. This was a long time. Also, according to recent studies conducted by UMass Medical School, menthol is believed to cause stronger dependencies, and because of this, menthol cigarettes can be easier to start and ultimately harder to quit. Um, issue with menthol too. The marketing of menthol cigarettes is also a huge health equity concern. The tobacco industry uses marketing tactics such as discounts, coupons, and advertising to target specific populations. As a result, over 80% of Black individuals reported using menthol cigarettes, with also 36% of LGBTQ people who smoke using menthol cigarettes compared to 29% of straight people who smoke. And we also saw 40% of middle and high schoolers, students reported using menthol cigarettes. Because of this, health equity is another major concern we're fighting for. Next slide, please. FDA regulations. The FDA did try to ban manufacturing, distribution, and sale of all menthol flavored cigarettes back in 2022. However, the White House decided to withdraw this rule. That's why it's so important to continue gaining support. Even with the flavor ban back in 2009, menthol remains on the market, but this can be changed. Next slide, please. This can be done with nicotine flavor restriction. Like I mentioned earlier, 7 states and over 400 local governments throughout the country have actually restricted some of all flavored nicotine products. This shows how important this issue really is. And we have a lot of work to do, but we hope to be, by raising awareness regarding this issue, we can help encourage change and show how dangerous these flavors can be within our community. Next slide. So how can you as local elected officials take action within our campaign? Next slide. You can show us support by signing our support cards. This is a great way to show, hey, I actually care about our youth, and that I see this also as an issue. And we also do bring these to other local official meetings, like when we meet with legislators and such. It's a good way to kind of show them, hey, your people care about this, please help us. We actually send those cards. To you virtually, and it's quick and easy to sign. And of course, if you have any questions, you can talk to Andrea, or feel free to reach out to anyone who understands. That's it. Thank you so much for allowing us to share our campaign with you. If you have any questions, please feel free to talk to Andrea. You can also ask her now. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Diego. Great.
Yeah, I had a question about the efforts. Is it you're aiming to for state legislation to change this, or is it more of a national type of a congressional type of action?
So with No Manor Cell specifically, we are focused on state efforts. So we meet with state legislators during the session, and actually prior to the session too. But I think that it's really important to start at the local level, trying to gain support from all of you, so that we can bring that support to the state legislators and tell them that, you know, the town of Mesilla or the city of Las Cruces, etc., supports these efforts, and it kind of helps to back our efforts a bit. So.
Is there a timeline that you're looking at?
Well, not necessarily. This is kind of just a continued effort. We're going to go to legislative session this year, which will be we're going to head up in January. So if there is any way to show support prior to that, I think it would be really helpful, but we'll just kind of continue to work past that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Trustees, any other questions or comments? Thank you, Andrea and Diego, for that. And then if you would, just forward that form to Gloria in specific, or myself, and then I'll make sure that it gets out to the electeds. And if they have the opportunity or if they want to support it, they can definitely do that.
Yes, definitely.
It's in their hands on that. All right.
Okay, that's perfect. So we'll definitely send it your way. And before we sit back down, is it okay if you have a second to maybe take a photo with Diego?
Would love to do that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Trustees, you okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Thank you.
All of us?
Yeah.
Oh.
The whole team.
Okay.
Yay.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna get this way too. Sorry. Photo op. Great, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Oh, thanks so much. I'll reach out to you.
All right. Next item on the agenda for action and consideration, new business, item A for discussion, a revenue and expense overview. And I'll turn this over to Ms. Gloria. I'll actually do that.
All of you had a chance to go over it and you got some questions. I'm sure you noticed that that our percentage was at 29% in revenue. So really, this is the end of the first quarter, so it would have been at 25, so we're a little bit higher than what we should be. I mean, what they say we should be. Also, if any of you notice, there's more expenditures than revenue, but it's because we pay many of these things like insurance, contracts, things like that, we pay for the whole year. So at the end of the year, all that evens out. Okay, also, there'll be a bar later on that will allow me to put those funds into the right account so that you won't see a negative there. Because we received 61,000 as a FEMA reimbursement that went into the EMS fund. So that'll be put in there. Also, we received extra funding in our fire protection. And then we carried over some money. So that money hasn't been in there till now that it's gonna be approved to transfer those monies in there. Okay, don't know, do you have any more questions? And it's self-explanatory. Yes, there are some negatives, but it's the first quarter and all of those will even out. Okay,
Right.
Mayor, do you have, I'm sure you
Come on.
have.
Trustees, do you have questions?
No, I think, thank you for providing it. And it's fun, it's finally making sense to me, Gloria, and not on your, because of you, but because of me, right? I'm learning to read the budget better.
We're gonna be going over this are we gonna go over this every quarter or every month?
I think once a month for right now, and we'll touch on it.
Going over this. So once you get
Perfect.
a copy of the report, look it over, jot down any questions so that we can explain those.
And I just want to point out, Gloria, before you sit down, some of the things like that she's talking about. So when you look at just to point them out, just so that even for the public. So when you look online and you see this, so on page 10 of the packet is which is page 2 of the revenue and expense report. That's where we're seeing at the top number there, the 29 or 30% or 32% and 29% year to date. That's of our revenues. You know, we are a quarter in right now, so we are up year over year from our projections on what we were projecting as that revenue. So it's a good standing and a great place to be, you know, on that. But we are negative on those overall expenses, but just as Gloria explained, that's because of that. You will notice that there is still some cleaning up to do, like on page 20 in specific, you'll see where we have some funds that are under the community development department, building repair and maintenance, office supplies, building maintenance in general. Those are being shifted, or those funds have been shifted around to other departments, but we had taken out expenses from those. That's why we have a negative under the current period. But those are going to be transferred over into the correct funds. So there's still a little cleaning up to be done per se. It all balances at the end of the day. It's just those little details that the team has been so used to putting it into those accounts in the past. And here we are shifting those around, trying to clean it up, to consolidate it, to make it easier. So
Right.
Kind of difficult to get everybody on the same page. but
definitely.
we'll get there.
Definitely. One of the things that I do want to also note, something that I'm working on in specific for this to help out, is that we have we have 5 different investment funds that we invest in, and we earn interest off of those investments. Now, what those investments are specifically tied to through the state and how they're tied, we can't find that information. And every time I call Santa Fe, I get shimmied around to different departments up in Santa Fe, and nobody in Santa Fe really knows what those investments are either. So we're working on that, and we will get to the bottom of it, where those investments are, and the specifics on that, and the details on that. And some of them are tied to bonds that we already have. So we have that information. It's just we need to drive down on it and grab that information. So once I get that from DFA or an MFA or whoever it may be, we'll make sure to share that information in more detail, specifically because we're earning this interest, and we know that we're earning it because we get the statements. It's just that nobody knows specifically through the state where it's being held at, which is ironic how that works. But got to think that I guess they're dealing with so many different municipalities across the state. This is what we have to deal with. So, but just to explain a little bit more on that. Any other questions, trustees? No? Thank you. I appreciate it. Next item on the agenda is for discussion for fire department position. It's Crystal. So Chief Whited is at a different deal event this evening, so he won't be able to do the presentation, but I do have so.
All right, so we would like to propose converting the current state operations captain position into a battalion chief of operations position. This change did not include an immediate pay increase because it was not budgeted for. However, the title and responsibilities would be updated down. And then we would do the pay adjustment when funding became available. But what the reasons why? The individual currently serving in this role has been performing at the level of a battalion chief, assuming operational leadership responsibilities without the formal recognition of this position. At the present, he is the second in command for operations, while the department only has a fire marshal, which is the other chief role within the department. That role oversees fire prevention and not operations. So he is the second in command, but he is in a captain position. So there's a whole bunch of ranks kind of in between for those that don't really understand how that works. So establishing a battalion chief position would strengthen our succession planning. If the fire chief were to leave today for any reason, there would currently only be one individual internally qualified for that position, and that would of course be the fire marshal, who is not doing operations. So this would allow us to be able to have more opportunities for growth within the department. And this changes ensures a clear, structured chain of command, and it prepares the department for seamless leadership continuity. We have a big gap there right now. This adjustment reflects the operational realities of the department, recognizes the level of work already being performed, and supports long-term organizational stability. Questions?
So he's already currently doing the job of a battalion chief.
Doing the work. The big difference between a captain and a battalion chief is the captain usually does day-to-day operations, so they handle staffing, those sorts of things. But they don't look. They're not designed to move forward and do any kind of that strategic planning, anything like that. The captain that we have right now doesn't know I'm here doing this. But he currently is participating in all of the planning. He's doing all of those roles right now. He has the certifications. He's gone out and gotten additional certifications that were not required, just so that he can help the department meet the goal and what we're trying to do. He has not asked for this. This is something that the chief is requesting.
Okay.
I had a related question. Just on, I guess the attachment is a job description, right?
Yes.
I kind of got added into this.
Oh, okay.
For the meeting.
It's just a question on, on physical demands, because it says ability to perform physically demanding tasks like lifting, including lifting.
Yes.
But in descriptions relating to the fire department, is there any specifics? Some, because I'm familiar with job descriptions. Sometimes they have lifting, pushing, pulling 50 pounds or whatever more, and this doesn't have the, because
It
if,
should say in there, NFPA requirements.
okay, but, okay.
And those is where it's specified, it's
Yeah.
very specific. Because I know what you're talking about, normally it's very like 50 pounds, but for firefighters, NFPA is very complicated. And it's, has to be able to carry, a person up a flight of stairs, this many feet, it's like, it's a little bit more complex, so that's why they listed the standard.
Okay.
And that changes as the NFPA standards update. So that person has to stay up to date on the firefighter standard.
Okay. And that explains it, because I'm familiar with job descriptions. A lot of times they have the specifics in there. So,
And it doesn't pigeonhole us as the NFPA standards change.
all right. Thank you.
And sorry, go ahead. Any questions?
No, I mean, it makes sense. The thinking makes sense to me. And I think we do need a little bit of, anything could happen to anybody at any time. So we don't want to be left with a big hole.
And the way it's written now, I guess I didn't explain this, is that the chief position the person has to have at least 3 years in a chief role, which our current captain would never be able to achieve. And that's kind of one of the kind of, speaking of pigeonholing, they kind of pigeonhole ourselves there.
Right.
It doesn't allow for any.
Oh, yeah. So that's really significant, because then we would have to go to the outside every time. Okay. Thanks. This is good.
And part of this discussion, because there's not a decision that's being made today by any means, so it's just a discussion all the way around. But I know when you mentioned it, and so has Chief when he's brought it to me originally, is that the talk about in this position that it be lateral with no pay increase, so until it's budgeted into the current year. I do think that because if the job is being done as it's being presented, duties are above it and beyond the current scope, I think that it's viable for us to really evaluate pay and implement it upon approval. And the trustees might be different on that, but that'll be my goal to work out that and see where we can pull that budget wise to make that happen. And I'll get with Chief on the specific salary range. That way we can present that to the board at the next meeting.
I agree with that, because it don't be fair that, the person performing other duties be paid compensated accordingly to it.
That would be much appreciated.
I think it's
Absolutely.
the right thing.
Mhm.
So,
The right thing.
all right. Any other questions or comments, trustees? Of course, if you see changes to be made, there's no approval this evening. Just let me know, or let fire chief know, and we'll make those necessary adjustments, and kind of take it from there. All right.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate it. Next item on the agenda for approval, PZHAC sign case 062059 for 2340 Guy the Principal, submitted by the Taylor Reynolds Barella Messia Historic Site Gift Shop, requesting approval to install a sign on an existing projecting bracket mounted on the wall in the HC Historic Commercial Zone.
So moved.
Second. Sorry.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Nevadas, and we will open it up for discussion. Mr. Salazar, if you would, please.
Good evening, Mayor, good evening, trustees, Katie Salazar, Community and Economic Development. We did get a request, a sign permit request, case number 062059, locations at 2340 Calle Principal, It was submitted by Taylor Reynolds of Aurora, Historic Site Gift Shop. Requesting approval to install a sign on existing projecting bracket mounted on the wall. The zone is historic commercial. Mr. Matthew O'Reilly's, from New Mexico Department of Cultural Affairs Historic Sites Division has submitted a request for a sign to be mounted on existing projecting metal bracket at the Barella store. The sign is consistent with the other signs mounted at the museum. The sign is approximately 28 inches by 9.45 inches and made out of lumber/vinyl. The sign is a total of 2 square feet. No lighting is being proposed for the sign. Messiah Town Code 18.65.150, Section A, must be at least a minimum of 4 feet from the sidewalk to the bottom of the sign. Messiah Town Code 1865.150 P1 allows projected signs to be a maximum of 4 feet from the wall out. And Messiah Town Code 18.65.150 P2, the maximum square feet of the sign, projection sign, is 8 square feet. In application, sign dimensions, design, location, and the street view has been provided for you on the packet. The Planning and Zoning Commission has reviewed and it was voted or approved 5-0 without any conditions. And stand by for any questions.
Trustees, any questions?
No.
Seeing as there are no questions, the motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Nevadas. Gloria, if you can roll call vote, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Merrick,
Yes.
Trustee Cadena,
Yes.
Trustee Nevadas,
Yes.
Mayor, the roll call is 3 yes.
Thank you very much for approval of PZHAC sign case 062059 for 2340 Calle de Principal. Our next item on the agenda is approval of PZHAC case 62060 for 2290 Calle de Parian, submitted by Felix Armijo, requesting approval to reopen an old door opening and install a new door in the historic commercial zone.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Trustee Nevadas, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick. And actually,
I need to abstain.
I was going to say, Mayor Pro Tem, if you would abstain. Okay. And thank you. Second on the floor by Trustee Cadena. Mayor Pro Tem, I will ask that since you are abstaining from the vote, if you will exit the room, and then I will get you called in upon return or upon completing discussion and vote. Mr. Salazar, if you would, please.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. Again, this is PZHAC case number 062060. It is at 2290 Calle de Principal. It was submitted by Mr. Felix Amigo requesting approval to reopen an old door opening and install a new door. The zone is historic commercial. Mr. Amigo is looking to open an exterior old doorway into one of his commercial spaces. Currently, there is a door in place of an old door opening that has been filled in. There's a wall behind it. The new door will be similar to the other 4 doors on his commercial building. The door will be wood with a wood pane windows to match the other doors. He will need to open the door way wider than his previous. Right now, the door is approximately 28 inches. Right now, this wood action form stays 36 inches wide by 84 inches tall. After the commission reviewed it, the reason for this dimension is to meet ADA rules of being able to go in and out in case you're in a wheelchair or somehow need the system, the door to be that thick. But there is a 32-inch minimum of ADA requirement. It's between 32 and 36 in the commission upon review. They set a condition that approved with the condition that the maximum or the door needs to be 32 inches. Reason for that is because this is a historic building. There was a door there before, even though the doors are going to match, but they still want to do as little changes as possible to the historic building that there is. Reason why he wants to open that door is because he's leasing that space out at one particular time that was a storage room for a different business adjacent to that storage room, and now there's going to be a separation of business in each space. And I stand by for any questions.
Could you repeat what the width of the door was?
The door was, right, well, it's filled in, but there's an outline.
Yeah.
For it was 28 inches. And the minimum ADA approval is 32 inches. And that's what the commission decided is to meet ADA 32 inches.
four more inches then?
I'm sorry?
It's 4 more inches.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's going to be removing the frame and
Correct.
adjusting.
Yeah, well, there's no frame there now, but.
Oh, there's no frame
itself,
at all.
the
Okay.
minimum is 32
Okay.
inches.
I thought there was a frame there because it looks like a door anyway. Yeah. Okay. And so this won't affect integrity of the wall. So, all right.
Trustees, any other questions? No? Motion on the floor by trustee Nevada, seconded by trustee Cadena. Gloria, will you roll call vote, please?
Trustee Cadena,
Yes.
trustee Nevada,
Yes.
Mayor, the roll call is 2 yes.
Great. Thank you very much for approval of PZHAC case 62060 for 2290 Calle de Parian, as it has been with the condition as well. Mayor Pro Tem has rejoined us. Next item on the agenda for approval, item E, approval of PZHEC case 62062 for 1970 Calle Pecana, submitted by Andrea Schneider, requesting approval to build a shed in her backyard in the historic residential zone.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, second by Trustee Cadena. Mr. Salazar.
Yes, case number 062062, location of 1970 Calle de Pacana, submitted by Andrea Snyder, requesting approval to build a shed in her backyard. The zone is historical residential. Ms. Snyder would like to build a shed in her backyard. The shed will be site-built shed, it's not going to be a temporary shed as normally you would find this request. The shed will be permanent with a concrete foundation and electricity. The shed will be built out of lumber to match the design standards of the home / neighborhood. Exterior will be plastered with Adobe brown color. The shed will be approximately 10 by 20. It will be located 12 feet away from the west property line. A New Mexico licensed contractor, Mr. Quinones, has been hired to do the job. He does have a Mesilla business license. Mesilla Town Code 1835.060P. Development standards minimum is a 40% property should be open space. 1835.060B, minimum of 7 feet is required for the setback. And 1835.060I, requirements for architectural style standards have been met. The supporting documents, the proof of ownership, contract agreement, the business license, contractor license, the site plan, wall section plan, foundation plan, elevations, electrical plans, and the roof plans. They have been reviewed by department heads to include a historic specialist. This is Aguirre. All signatures have been obtained, and I stand by for any questions. I'm sorry, and one last thing, the commission did vote to approve 5-0, no conditions.
Thank you. Trustees, any questions? Seeing as there are none, motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Cadena. Gloria, if we can have a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Nevada,
Yes.
trustee Cadena,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Merrick,
Yes.
Mayor, the roll call is 3 yes.
Thank you very much for approval of PZHAC case 62062 for 1970 Calle Pecana. Next item on the agenda is approval of resolution 2025-62 with an amendment to our zoning map with a rezone.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Cadena. Mr. Salazar.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, trustees, this is a resolution 2025-062. It was a resolution from a hearing at the rezone request hearing that we had with the commission. And it was approved on 10/20/2025. 2025. The vote was 3-0. One of the commissioners, it was 4 commissioners, one of the commissioners abstained from the vote. According to Vicia Town Code Chapter 18.90, 18.9010, is any section of this, and this is regarding amendments, supplements, or repeals. And then again, this is in Title 18. This is any sections of this title, including the map, a zoning map, which defines the zoning classifications of all properties within Vicia, may be amended, supplemented, or repealed at any part or entirely whenever public necessity, convenience, and general welfare is required. It also outlines who can make these types of requests. Also, I'd like to kind of jump down to 1890 100, and it specifies that the approval after the commission reviews, if approved, it needs to be submitted or forwarded to the governing board via a resolution. The planning commission shall announce its findings by resolution within 40 days following the final hearing of any application. The resolution shall state the facts and the reason which make the approval or denial of the application necessary to carry out the general purpose of this title. And it shall recommend to the board of trustees that an amendment, supplement, or repeal in whole or in part to this title is adopted or that the application be denied. Lastly, on 1890-150, transmission of commission's records to the board of trustees. Upon receipt of a written appeal, the town clerk treasurer shall transmit the planning commission's complete records of all the case to the board of trustees. This includes the packet. Because of what hasn't been appealed, that is why therefore the resolution has been forwarded to you for consideration. The applicant, Mr. Caro is here tonight, and I'd like to invite him forward to address the governing board on his reasoning why he is requesting this rezone.
Evening.
Not known about real friend, and it's my age to include the parties directly to that unfinished stage and also a cementation community. And we haven't grown anything out there since about 81. And it's been quite a while. It's quite a, we used to have water in the beaches and acequias year round. And then the frost started coming, we started coming back on it. And then it will work. Even though different personalities that want to kill body change, which is way after that, the growing season. So this also put our agricultural community started down. We used to have all, as you guys know, sandwiches, melones, onions, apple, you name it, anything that you can think of was growing here in the valley. And because of this, what you need to have a place isn't where you have something at the beginning and you go through. And because of that, a lot of people started forgetting about planning because it wasn't worth it. So they started putting pecan trees. So now everybody got commercial all around. But the thing is, even at that, a few of the people out from the commercial convention and stuff, yeah, my grandpa were, my big had it. After that, it wasn't much to it. But the thing is that unless you had the big pumps supply with water, you could do anything. You had to wait for the water from pitches. Because of that, a lot of people started getting away from it. And on that, the whole street all the way down, the Frescas and myself, and they got about 40 acres of control. And not everybody can own anything that they want to be, myself. And so, my daughter came back from service. She asked me if I could give up the land and build on. And I came before the board at that time, which was like 6 years ago. And I think they said that I would, if I did, that it would go away with green belt. But I said, what green felt there's something felt was gonna be all along. Yes, there's technology and everything else. So, and everybody else was already rezoned R1. And I'm the only one back there that is, what is that?
Rural RF.
Which is RF, okay. And, so that's why I finally, my parents' time. And, my daughter was considered to be, myself, be a better. And I figured, you know, a lot of people that I know, well, even, their property to their kids, and then they're not able to build it because they didn't have money. And then they got selling. You know, you say, well, that isn't a few months later, you know, it just seems like like a lot of people, we want to just stay around here, but then these things are happening. The kids have to start going around for everyone else, and you got selling the land to their condo. But, so I wanted to keep my daughter, and decided to see her, so I decided to go ahead and give it our one. And, right now, this, and if you guys would like to see where it's at, whenever you walk, go out there and see, there is nothing but just, just straight land. Nothing going on and whatever, nothing. If, you know, with your, vision, I would like to be able to have something on the fire. And I said, all of my friends are based on ways, they're like doing something about it, so that's why I'm here trying to get all this done. I thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cotto. Trustees, questions?
So it's 5 acres, but it's sitting there idle. I mean, there's nothing being done with it.
Yes.
Test. In the deed, it does say there's 5 acres, but whenever Del Rio drain went in, there's 37 feet of Mr. Carlos' property was designated for a right of way for EBID. But the deed itself, it still shows it is 5 acres. The restrictions on that 37 feet of road, 37-foot road, roadway, right of way, you can still use it. It still has an easement for travel through there. You just can't build on it. There can't be any structures or any of those types of things that would prohibit anybody driving through there. But it's still considered his property. Is just again, it's a right of way. He can't construct on it.
But there's nothing growing on. I mean, obviously he said it's
I'm sorry, a little louder, sir.
There's nothing growing on that.
Right now, the land is vacant. It's nothing but dirt.
And it has no irrigation pump or anything.
Not to my knowledge, no. There's no wells or ditches that I've seen going out there when I went to look at it. And it is the last property before the drain.
Yeah, but normally there's kind of a map lining where the property is, and there wasn't one that I.
Yeah, that is one of the questions that was brought up to me, is that there was no packet along with this resolution consideration. And as I was mentioning in the code, you know, the P&Z reviewed the request, you know, the packet, and it states in our code that a resolution needs to be approved and forwarded to the Board of Trustees, and that's where we're at right now. Now, again, foresight, I would have included that with it, you know. Sure. But I assure you, all those questions have been reviewed. I have the packet here. If you're more than welcome to look at it, or maybe if you want to briefly look at it to see if there's any more questions that you might have.
Just see where
What's it?
property lies. Can you just point me to where the property lies? Do you have?
Sure. Yeah, it's on here. Would you like?
Can you can show it to me? I don't know.
Can I bring up one more thing I forgot to mention? Is that a few years back, about 6-7 years ago, the town went ahead and they wanted to tap the water lines. So they had to go through our property and tap. So the people over here, what is it called? Green Acres? What do you call it? Green.
11 or 14 acres.
Anyway, some of the Forces Barro and stuff had their houses. So they wanted to tie in on the water lines. They came in through Calle del Norte to have a close look, to have better water pressure and stuff. So they went through, they put water lines in there, and then they also went and put 6 fire hydrants starting from just close to where Maryland's up, and every so many 100 yards they put, and they got 6 fire hydrants all the way down there. So they were already planning for the future growth and whatnot, development, and even if you look at the comprehensive plan that they did that time, they'll show a picture on there and show it, and it looks like they were already preparing for the future land. So I just thought I'd mention that there is water lines, there is fire hydrants all the way down to where the people are going to build. They already have the access to it. So thank you.
Yes, trustees, Mayor. Now, this is Mr. Scaro's property. I'm still got it upside down for you, go. This is where Snow Road comes in, or Fresca's off of Snow Road comes in. And this is this drain over here in the back of the road drain around the backside, which again is the last property to that Fresca's Road. It is RF, 5 acres. Oh, there we go.
Okay, so I guess the last one,
This one right here.
okay. This is right here. All right. No, I just wanted to see where I'm a visual person, so I need to look.
And I do apologize, I wasn't there with you, even though our code does not require it.
It would have been good for you all to at least look at it to answer any questions that you might have. Any other questions?
I do. So I just, I just think that, that the whole goal of the comprehensive plan was, one thing is, we always talk about the green belt and securing the green belt and so on and so forth. And just looking at that, I know that one Frescas Road, and we've already had many, many discussions about that, is different, but the rest of it is still rural farm. And however, we do want to keep we want to keep families, new and original families in Mesilla. We don't want it, so I would like to propose that we postpone this just for a little bit, just so that we can look at options because I'm just thinking that if we do that and split it up into R1, it's just potentially a continuous R1 situation where we did it for that, then we're going to do it for this, and we're going to keep going. But I want to do something. I want to be able to do what we can. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to vote for the R1 in the future if that's our only option, but I feel like we can do something for Mr. Carl. I would like to ask Mr. Salazar to kind of do some discovery about that, as far as, I know there's laws about inheriting land. There's laws about, before you die, before one dies and so forth. And I believe him that that's what he wants. He wants to be able to pass on his land to people in his family. And I believe in that. And I think the comprehensive plan supports that. But it's also very much talking about potential, clustered subdivisions. Then we get into the whole subdivision thing if we do R1 for all of it. So I would like to postpone it, not long, but just for us to have some more options and some more material. And I understand that the P&Z looked at things, but I think rezoning of this category is really a Board of Trustee kind of decision.
So that's a formal motion by trustee Cadena to postpone.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Nevares for postponement for, will you once again just state the specifics of postponing and what's needed in your request.
I just think because this is a Board of Trustee decision, really, because it's not meeting any ordinance, it's just asking for a rezone. And I just think that in this case and in all cases that we want to honor the comprehensive plan and honor our families. And I think that we need more information before we can make that decision based on this property. And that I would ask that we do that before we make that decision and get more information. Yes, Mr. Caro, come on up.
First of all, I want to say that I'm the one that is all that everybody done to, maybe file one or if they want to, but they're all waiting on. Nobody else, everybody in this house, they've got big orchards on the side. So Montes has the orchards. Mateos has the orchards, Stu has the orchards. But to be honest, I'm the only one that are at everybody.
Yeah.
And also, there's a really big case where just, she was expressive to build on one of those streets coming down the same road. And so I see no reason why I have Simba as being the only one that can have or be rezoned. So, I see no reason why. You'll see, like, when you ever walk there, you can see the way it's set up.
Yeah.
You get the feel of it, you know?
Yeah, and I've been to your place, Mr. Caro, so Jesus, so I know, and that's why I want to work it out, but I don't want it to become something that we can't handle. Well, see, we can see it right here, Mr. Caro, see, and we know that is zoned R1. Unfortunately, that was pre-1980. In my view, it was unfortunate, and honest. So it looks weird, but and I agree with you, but see, you can see on the map that everything else is RF.
Then I'm divided with a drainage ditch. I'm going to 20,000 for it. That drainage ditch is nobody travels around that. On this side, I get a drainage ditch. It's separated family. So I'm there for myself. Right? I'm not going to have nobody else. My neighbors already come over here. They came. My immediate neighbors, they had said we had no problems. That I should be able to do what I want to. And that would not affect Royal 5 or anything else. So everything should be good. And they're the ones that live right next to me. So they got no problem. Right? And everybody, but like I said, I only think the issue I'd be allowed to.
So
Trustees sorry.
Okay, we have discussion on the
Yeah, so
motion,
discussion on postponement specifically.
But I guess the motion was about other consideration of other options.
Right.
I just I
So
wanted
look in to see if there's other options.
Yes,
That's-
but I was wondering, was there any discussion during the planning and zoning meeting? Was there anything about options of the property?
Mayor, Trustee Nevares, no, the focus on the planning and zoning was to review the request based on our code. And as Trustee Cadena mentioned, it was a little awkward because we're used to making sure it meets code, and this was outside our purview because we just concentrated on it wasn't going to affect any difference in our code, like Mr. Carl was mentioning, the way of life, those kinds of things. And we found out this request wouldn't affect our Mesilla Town Code. But as far as avenues, what other options that Mr. Caro might have to use for that property is no, we didn't discuss that. I do have some ideas. I like to write them down if that's what the governing board wants me to do before a decision is made. But I think that, as I mentioned before, many other cases, not just this one, that Mesilla is heritage, right? Families, those kinds of things, and a lot of these families that have been here for some time, the little short time that I've been, are moving out because sometimes our code, the way it's written, is pushing these people out, right? They're not able to subdivide below the 5-acre zone minimum requirement. In this particular case, Ms. Bustamante, if she was able to sell 1 acre, a part of his farm, he would keep his farm alive, but because you can't do that in that particular zone, without exactly, I don't know exactly what happened to her farm, I don't know what's still going on, or what they have to do. Basically, it's just sometimes something to consider, that sometimes the way our code is written is affecting our long-term or people that have been here a long time. So my first thing, I'll give you a little bit of ideas that I might have, right? First thing is, Brescia Town only allows 1 primary residence per 5 acres, right? And to me, it's a very large piece of property, especially if there's no agriculture on it, it's vacant, like Mr. Kyle's property. Why can't we look at something similar to having a second primary residence allowed on a 5-acre park, which prevents us from cutting the parcels up, and it will still be considered agriculture, it will still be 5-acre parcels. I mean, all these things, I mean, if choosing, being able to help our community and its families, just ideas. I mean, I've had a few other ones, but I mean, I'm willing to pitch that out to y'all and see what we can.
So what you just stated was having a main house on the 5 acres and then like a casita, so another. That's not
No,
what he
2
said.
primary
Oh,
residences.
2. I'm sorry, I didn't miss that.
Just whatever,
Whatever
it's
the
just an
config-
idea, it's not something I'm pitching.
Right.
It's just an example that maybe other.
Yeah, I missed that, sorry. I mean, but I don't know if the trustee is concerned about the domino effect about other property owners.
But yeah, that would have to be a change in our ordinance, and would have to be a change, that would have to be, if we're just gonna do it for one instance, then that would have to be a variance request, something similar. But I'm saying that this is, again, looking at this case, and the future cases to come, these are struggles that these families are having, and maybe by making a change in our ordinance from here, will release some of that pressure and attention for inherited purposes. Again, it's just an idea, there's many of those.
Yeah, there's many, I think there's a lot of options here, and what I don't want to do is say no today, because I don't think that's fair. I mean, I want to explore the possibility of doing something for Mr. Caro that will work for him and his family, that won't cause that situation that we have had, where we approve it for one person. I mean, it did happen on University already. And it's happened on other properties where it is a domino effect. So, and we know that the Fresques Road is an outlier already. It very much is. You can see it on the map. And we had a lengthy discussion about the Fresques property, and quite frankly, I didn't agree with that either. So, and I voted no on that, only because I felt like this is what would happen. And although, like I said, I want to find a solution, and I think there are solutions rather than making them for R1 properties. But I'm not even proposing that we eliminate that possibility. I just want to have more time to figure it out.
Review. And I
Is
think
that
that,
okay?
yeah, for you to review it with staff and to look at it.
Yes.
I think that's the point of your postponement, and we
Yes,
understand
sir.
that.
Okay, thank you.
So there's a motion on the floor to postpone. Once again, any further discussion, trustees, or questions on this case?
On the case?
Well, sorry, not on the case, for the postponement part. No. Motion on the floor to postpone by trustee Cadena, seconded by trustee Nevares. And if there is no further discussion, if we can roll call vote for postponement, Gloria.
Trustee Nevares,
Yes. Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Barrett,
Yes.
Trustee Cadena,
Yes.
Mayor the roll call is 3-8.
All right. So this case has been postponed to a future meeting to be heard for clarification, as it's been pointed out, and further review by the Board of Trustees. Next item on the agenda is approval, item G, approval of resolution 2025-64 for budget adjustments.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Cadena. Laura, if you can get background. I mean, you can do it from there if you want. It's pretty forward.
You go over, the request, and it was putting in, adding the funds that we received from FEMA
Mhm.
for EMS back into our budget. Okay, and also the 129, putting that back into our budget because it was already there, but it's moving it from unrestricted cash to the line item, which is probably equipment. Okay. Thank you.
Trustees, any questions?
Nope.
Seeing as there are none, if we can get a roll call vote, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Merrick,
Yes.
Trustee Cadena,
Yes.
Trustee Nevares,
Yes. Yes.
Mayor Rodriguez.
Thank you very much for approval of resolution 2025-64 for budget adjustments. Next item on the agenda, item H, approval of resolution 2025-65, adopting the 2025 comprehensive plan.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Trustee Nevada, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick. And we'll open it up for discussion. And this is just the formal resolution to adopt the plan, which was approved at the last meeting. Are there any questions? Seeing as there are no questions, Gloria, if we can get a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Cadena,
Yes.
Trustee Nevares,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Merrick,
Yes.
Mayor Rodriguez.
Great. Thank you very much for approval of resolution 2025-65 for our adoption of the 2025 comprehensive plan. Next item on the agenda is approval for Adelante Senior Meal Program.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Cadena. I will open it up for discussion on this. I'll just give a little background on Adelante, well, on both of them as we move forward. Adelante, as it was mentioned in a previous meeting, came forward to us last year with a request for a potential assistance to help out, and not knowing where our budget stood, we didn't know, or I didn't know specifically where we could potentially pull funds from, or if it was if we were able to. They have given here another request coming in specifically for that $10,000 help again. It will help, as I've stated in the executive summary, the payment supports the provision of a little over 1,400 home delivered meals for seniors currently on a wait list. This does ensure continued success for the essential nutrition and wellness for vulnerable adults in our community. They did give a little bit of the background and demographics, which was shared before, and have that side. In that, I do want to make note that this is for not just Mesilla residents, but also residents in nearby supporting communities that are that are on the wait list. But it will support primarily our residents as well. Adelante does serve out of the community center, and then the specifics on this, if you were looking at the budget, this money would be coming out of agreements and contracts in specific, where we have the funding as of presently. With us having increased revenues coming in so far, that does support this program project to help out with that, even though it wasn't necessarily budgeted, but the increased revenues year to date so far do help to support this programming. And then we can always make adjustments at the end of the year if we need to pull from reserves, as it was discussed with the previous position, if necessary. But that would be at the end of the year. I personally, and I just want to put this out there, I personally think that this is extremely important for all of our communities right now, especially given the current climate and culture going across our nation. And I think that we do need to help out in trying to support our vulnerable community members as a whole. So I'll open it up for questions.
I agree that there is food insecurity. I mean, there's uncertainties that we should support efforts like this in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee. Any other comments or questions?
No, I think we all agree that these are good, are things that we need to do out of the town of Mesilla to show our support of people that are food insecure for sure.
Great. With that in mind, motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Cadena. Lori, if we can have a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Cadena,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Merrick,
Yes.
Trustee Nevada,
Yes.
Mayor, the roll call is 3 yes.
Great. Thank you very much for approval of the Adelante Senior Meals Program. Next item on the agenda is approval for our Casa Peregrinos meal program.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Cadena. And this is the follow-up on the presentation that Mr. Lorenzo Alba did with us a couple of weeks ago, or a couple meetings ago, I should say. It supports 3 community pop-up markets within the town of Mesilla. It provides 220 food baskets to local residents and helping there again address food insecurity and ensuring access to fresh, nutritious groceries for families in need. Is there any questions?
No.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Cadena. Gloria, if we can have a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Nevada,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Merrick,
Yes.
Trustee Cadena,
Yes.
Mayor, the roll call is 3 yes.
Great. Thank you so much for approval of the Casa Peregrinos meal program. It's a great thing when we can support our communities. Next item on the agenda is approval of our U.S. solar agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Cadena. And I will open it up for discussion, just noting that this is the agreement as it was proposed at the last, with the presentation at the last meeting to integrate solar into the town, not with physical infrastructure, but through a secondary infrastructure, a system that provides credits to us and a cost benefit at the end, or us receiving a cost benefit at the end of the day in cost savings. There are, as I had noted in the other, or in the last meeting, we are looking at the alternatives with actual physical infrastructure going on the sites that are not covered through this agreement, and the potential of that. And hopefully that company is working on that information. We'll hopefully have that to you all soon. I do want to note that on this, even if it is approved this evening, I do have one more layer of overview and oversight, and that is with our utility company in specific to review the rate credits to ensure that they are the appropriate rate credits and the amounts being applied and in projections. So that is one extra layer. If it is approved this evening, that will be reviewed fully before the document is executed or would be executed. Trustees, questions?
No.
No?
I
Okay.
think we understood it.
Great. So motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Cadena. Gloria, if we can have a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Nevada,
Yes.
Cadena,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Merrick,
Yes.
Mayor, the roll call is 3 yes.
Thank you very much for approval of the U.S. solar agreement. Next item on the agenda is public input, where the public is invited to address the board for anything else. If you would step to the podium and state your name for the record. If there's any other public input. No other public input. All right. Next item on the agenda is executive closed session for discussion concerning attorney-client privilege information, attorney-client privilege pertaining to threatened or pending litigation in which the public body is or may become a participant pursuant to NMSA 1978, Section 1015H7 concerning the Community Development Department, and then also for discussion concerning limited personnel matters pursuant to NMSA 1978, Section 1015-1H2 for the Marshal's Department. We can have a motion to exit into executive
moved.
closed session, please.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Cadena. And if there is no discussion or objection, we will move into executive closed session. And the time is now 7:15, and we are going into executive closed session. We will return shortly. Yes. For the first part. You would, sir.
For a long time.
Yeah.
Almost there.
I thought they were standing outside.
Okay. Ow.
Last I checked, I think there was 3 online. There was 3 online.
Oh, good.
Andy was one of them. Texted me some updates. I don't know, I did shower today.
They're just on hiatus. They'll be back. There's Mr. Lester. Kill that one. All right, the time is now 7:26 and we are returning from executive closed session with only those items pertaining to that being, or only those items discussed being pertained to what's listed to section A for discussing and concerning attorney-client privilege information pursuant to NMSA 1978, section 1015(1)(h)(7) for the Community Development Department, as well as item B for discussion concerning limited personnel matters pursuant to NMSA 1978, section 1015(1)(h)(2) for the Marshals Department. If we can have a motion to return to a regularly scheduled meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Cadena. And if there is no objection or discussion, we will return into our regularly scheduled meeting. And the time is now 7:27. We are returning into our regularly scheduled meeting. Item 10 on the agenda, any actions that may arise as a result of executive closed session. None for item A for Community Development Department, but we do have action for item B for the Marshals Department, and that is a formal request for approval for a hire of Mr. Manny Sanchez to be joining our Marshals Department.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Merrick, seconded by Trustee Cadena. Is there any further discussion, trustees?
No.
Seeing as there is none, Gloria, if we can do a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Cadena?
Yes.
Trustee Nevada?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Merrick?
Yes.
Mayor, the roll call 3 yes.
Great. Thank you very much for the approval of Mr. Manny Sanchez to be joining the Marshals Department. And now we are fully staffed once again. So thank you very much on that. Next item on the agenda, item 11, Board of Trustee Committee and Liaison Updates. We'll start off with Trustee Nevadas.
Last Wednesday, I attended the SCRTD, the Regional Transportation Board meeting. They reported that they've had a 774% growth since fiscal year 2017. So they are making great strides to expand services, including they had free ridership on it. So all of this contributes to the usage. And the plan was to add a ninth bus route to the system. So they are making a lot of progress.
Great.
So that kind of gives you an overview.
Beautiful. Thank you, sir.
That includes Messia, because there's a stop right in front of it.
Any other updates? No? Trustee Cadena?
I don't have anything. I have a Friends of
Taylor
site next week. Yeah, and we'll be attending that.
Right around the corner. Mayor Pro Tem?
Our MPO meeting was canceled, so I don't have anything.
Okay. And I don't have any committee updates. I know that I had meetings, but it was all, I can touch on that in other staff comments. I don't have the long list today. Next item on the agenda is Board of Trustee and staff comments. Mr. Marshall.
Good evening, Mayor, trustees. Thank you for approving the hiring of Manny Sanchez and Katrina Ornelas. Should be starting this week. They both go to firearms qualification tomorrow night with NMSU. And then we'll get the ball rolling on FTO, which I don't see a big long since they're both 10+ year experience in law enforcement. So it won't take much training. We've gotten some calls about mainly election signs possibly blocking view right away at certain intersections. So myself, Lieutenant Diaz, and Codes Officer Garcia went out there and tested them all in different heights of vehicles. And they're all clear line of sight, meet the height requirements, nothing's blocking views. So they're all good there. I missed the Halloween carnival, but my guy said it went pretty smooth, big crowd. Sunday, we have the Day of the Dead procession, which will have two of my guys out there blocking traffic as they do the procession to the cemetery. And then the biggest thing is just getting parent pickup mainly pickup contained on University. Still having parking issues on McDowell, but either myself or Codes Officer Garcia are out there trying to get the word out. And then SRO Boylston has the pickup line pretty much set, so that'll go as smooth as it is right now. I don't think there's anything else. Still waiting on Alamo to get the equipment in to outfit the 2 units. And then the other units are getting some minor repairs, maintenance done so that they're ready for the 2 new hires. And then the Taurus, I believe, is going to the fire department. And then the old SUV Explorer will be going to the auction block. And then we'll have 1 Durango for motor. I stand for any questions, concerns.
Marshall, I just noticed that someone has been putting those signs on like stop signs.
Oh yeah, I meant to do that.
Oh.
Me and Code Officer Garcia went and confiscated 10 of those today.
Yeah.
And called the person. They're all the same company that
Yeah.
tree lighting person. So we got a hold of him, advised him of the regulations for the town of Mesilla, and then also not to put on state property or town property. So he's gonna come pick up those signs tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you for doing that. I mean,
Yeah, I didn't realize there were so many, but yeah. I
yeah.
had 5, and I think Jose got 6. And then there's 2 other signs that Codes Officer Garcia is addressing on Union for an internet company that were nailed to electric pole.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you see them out there, just let me know, send an email, and we'll go take care of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And Crystal left, so I guess we'll don't have fire update. Lorenzo.
Mayor, Board of Trustees, good evening. Just I have a couple of on the projects. I was out last week, but the mayor and Brianna did meet with A Mountain to proceed with Calle del Norte Phase 3. That will be starting November the 10th, and you know that what we'll get as soon as I get with Chris and all of that, we'll get the proper postings, you know, as far as more, you know, how it's not gonna be fully closed. It'll be turned to 1 lane, but we will post the traffic control onto the website so that the way you guys are aware. And that project shouldn't take too long to finish. So they're approximately shooting for 2 weeks at the most to finish that project. So that one will move very quick. And then of course University is going in smooth. They're putting it on the north side of the street is a lot of the storm drains have already gone in. You know, there's a little few kinks that we're working out with the NMDOT, but they're moving along. And we also will be having we have a posting on the website about the meeting on Wednesday. They're at ZIA for informational purposes, you know, with ourselves, myself, Mayor Hernandez, and then the NMDOT, EBID will be there, and you know, just to answer questions and concerns on the residents, you know, that wherever questions arise. And other than that, we're just moving along in maintenance. We finished supporting the Halloween, you know, this past weekend. You know, we're ready to support the Dia de los Muertos also that's coming up, and it's moving along. And I stand by for any questions, concerns.
Lorenzo, so we've talk to people there, and thank you very much for having that meeting, because I think people do have a lot of questions and and I think concerns, and I'm sure you've heard them all, but it would be nice to get everybody in one room with NMDOT so they have to hear it. The other is that the storm drains is like to clear those out, because there's a lot of old trees up University, and people have already said that just with the rain we've had so far that they've noticed is, yeah. Is that something that you guys check regularly, or is it something that they can call in for if something's happening there? Or what would you, if somebody asks us, what do we do about pine needles in stopping up the drains, or leaves or whatever
Yeah, well,
on public roads?
yeah, well, that's gonna be coming to us, in the future, so we will be taking care of all of that. Right now, because it's under construction and it hasn't gotten turned over to us, we can't really address the situation. I know that it's there, we know that it's there. I wish that we could go out there and help out, but because they haven't handed it to us yet, but we will be, we can bring up that issue, to them, on Wednesday to see what we can do to, maybe, have them, clear a little bit of that, the debris out.
Just in case we have a couple of days of good rain and people, then it's going to back up and maybe cause problems even for the project, you know what I mean? But so that's just something that was brought up. But I didn't know if in general, if something like that is going on, they just need to call the Public Works. I mean, they just need to call in and say, can you help us out if it's a public road?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Just called DOT.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, when it does belong to us. Yeah. Just wondering, because we just get those kinds of questions sometimes.
That'll be our maintenance, future-wise.
Well, and I think with that a note as well is even if it isn't our responsibility, residents or other electeds, whoever, bringing it up to staff, and staff, if it's not something that staff takes care of on our part, we'll direct it to the department that does take care of that. So like, for example, a resident brought up the major weeds that were growing up down towards the river and the height of those weeds. While our team could do that, we'd probably still be out there taking care of that. But NMDOT has the equipment to actually come in and mow those weeds down. And they did that. And then our team went out after that to get all of the little stuff and ensure that the overgrowth does not happen. So, and they're presently still working down at the river, right? Cleaning that up. So,
well, that's cool. Yeah, we just get questions, and I just don't want to say, well, call if there's another way to do that, start getting you guys a bunch of calls. So yeah, that's interesting going down in University. No wonder everybody avoids it.
It's going smoothly though.
Yeah, it looks, it's going to be really nice.
any other questions? No? Thank you, Lorenzo. Appreciate it. Eddie.
Good evening. It's me again. I just got a few things. The big one is Red River. We just came back from Red River. Two of the commissioners went with me and Liana, and it was very informational. We really had a good education, especially the newer commissioners that went. Took a lot of notes. As I mentioned to them, we had a little post meeting between us commissioners and ask some questions, answer those kind of things when it was done. So that way maybe we can, because it was just a lot of information that I think they were a little overwhelmed because they were just writing down, they seemed excited. They were running down here with the paper, they were probably going to change the CAD and all that, right? I mean, that's how you feel when you come back because there's so much stuff that you learn. You just want to really get in here, and obviously there's a process for that and all that, right? Some of the things that we did talk about, number one, the biggest one was food trucks. It's getting more and more common. A lot of municipalities, Mr. Ochoa, Adam Ochoa from the Spruces, he was the past president of the New Mexico League. And he did that presentation, and he gave us a lot of good information on pros and cons, the hurdles and some of the benefits from them. So something might be, maybe in the future, we might be taking a look at. I'll definitely put it together and, bring it to the board of trustees and see what we want to do with that. Another thing is, there's a lot of municipalities that are starting to struggle with squatters. We've had a little run-ins here. They really strongly suggested that we don't have a squatting, I don't know exactly how you name it, but a squatting ordinance or something like that, that they struggle with because a lot of these New Mexico state statute laws that are being passed are being protective of these squatters. So we need to protect ourselves, our community, properties and such, so that we won't have any issues in the future with that. Carlsbad had a real good one. Maybe think, I don't think we have to concern much about it, but Carlsbad has a temporary RV park ordinance. A lot of that's due to the oil fields and the demand for workers, not enough housing, to the point to where they got like hundreds. I don't want to say hundreds, but one RV park you're looking at 2,000-3,000 RV stationed there, and the struggles and those kind of things. And so yeah, it's Carlsbad. When you go look at it, the town's the river is great, but there's actually obviously like anything else. Every municipality is going through their struggles. So it's one of the things that really stood out when I was down there. Code abatement, violation abatement. I really liked, and we did a lot of mock trials. I really wish our code enforcement would have joined us. And I didn't think about that since I was down there. It would have been very, very beneficial for them. They gave us cases, they put us in groups, and then we answer questions, and then they put us on the stand in a sense, and then we had to kind of go through that. So part of that was also a discussion about the hearing examiner, really the benefits that a lot of municipalities are starting to go to. Some of them, Bernalillo, just south of Albuquerque, they have a hearing examiner with a lot of these papers, and I think it's going very well for them. So again, I think it kind of reinforces some of the decisions and ideas of maybe moving forward with that. Okay, enough of that. And Yana's really been working hard. She's doing a lot of networking with the state, cultural affairs, with a lot of these historic preservation committees, commissions, and such. And our last P&Z meeting on the 20th, we did propose an amendment change to our code ordinance, Title 18, and hopes to meet all the requirements for the state in becoming certified local government finally. It went very well. I think there wasn't very minimal to hardly any changes or conditions to that. Right now, I did drafted up a resolution. Once the resolution is that our next meeting will get approved, and then more likely on our next BOT meeting, we'll be presented it for approval as well. What else? Camino Real and Chihuahua Chos have been looking at a lot of these historic markers in the area, working with these agencies to see if we can bring to light a lot of these signage, maybe sometime, or it's just the education part of Mesilla. One of the things I found in that industry, which I used to be a lot more involved with gold prospecting and mineral prospecting, and it's only because I like being out playing the third in a sense. But when I was doing that, trying to get some information on the area, there is this story about the hermit, in the mountain. Nobody knows that. No one really knows that. And until Miss Diana brought that up today about she went and did some visit with another historian with our cemetery. He's buried there, right? So it's like, wow, what a cool story, right? I mean, it's like, so all these little things she's working on. She's working with a lot of these families as far as, everybody thinks about Mesilla, the buildings, but there's more to it than just buildings. There's more stories to these families that really, I think, should feel proud of their heritage and bring to light some of these events or whatever to people to know, right? And I keep telling her that she needs to put them all down because eventually she would write a book. Right? So in honor, or maybe a wall monument or something, it's just to really recognize a lot of these families. So again, she has been working on that. Our website, we want to include what we're talking about here on our website, a little pages section, a tab and such, so we can start putting together some of these, findings that we have, right? she's going as far as doing a podcast on YouTube, like, hey, account now. It'll be awesome, man. It'll be awesome. But I mean, that obviously takes time and money. But yeah, really, she's really very motivated. And I support her 100%. I told her. So I put in a rec for GIS, which is something that's very, very needed. And GIS is just a software online that whenever you click on the county, say for instance, the county parcel map, you see the map and you can tell it. So this is exactly what it is. We can't communicate as well through that process because we don't have the licensing for it. And then we're working on getting licensing for that. So especially now after the comprehensive plan, there may be some possibilities with some rezoning. We won't have to ask the county to do it for us. We can start mapping it out ourselves. We can start putting our historic registry on there. With CLG. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff that I think is exciting. I just wanted to bring forth what the hard work just been working on and with excitement. I think that soon, hopefully, we can start making some changes and information. That's all I have. Any questions?
You're doing a lot of stuff. Both of you are doing a lot.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Just, is she coordinating with the Taylor site, the Taylor Historic site? Is she kind of coordinating some with the Taylor Historic site? How are you guys handling that?
The Taylor Historic site?
Uh-huh. Taylor Messia Historic Site. Well, I just think that there's a lot of connectivity there and that they would benefit from something that we would do, right? And we would benefit from from the historic site,
I know she's had some, about 2-3 meetings with the gentleman down, I don't recall his name, the tour guide, that actually was the tour guide. I forget his name, but-
Daniel?
Daniel.
Yeah.
With Daniel, and, they are, collaborating.
Oh,
and
cool.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they are staying in contact.
That's
I think the last meeting on the last weekend also was the archives over here at the museum, here in the Spruces. I forget what the museum called. Something about ranch, right? The museum?
The Farm and Ranch.
The Farm and Ranch.
Yeah.
It's on University.
Yeah, it's an awesome museum,
Yes.
Sorry, I forgot something. Yeah, so she was there, she came back with a big old drink of ice cream. She just wants to remind me, it's not a good thing, so she's passionate, it shows, so I'm happy to report that to you all.
Thanks for all your hard work. It's a lot.
Yeah. Good stuff. Anything else? No? All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Since fire's not here, fire chief told me they hit their 100th call today.
They did what?
Hit their 100th call today.
Oh, wow.
A day? Jesus.
Well, thank you, fire department, for all your hard work too.
Yeah. No
That's
kidding.
crazy. Finance.
Thank you for approving the bar. We'll be bringing more next quarter. And I appreciate it when you really look through that revenue and expense because it's very important. I might miss something. You might miss something and then I can explain it to you. But it's very important that you look through that revenue and expense report monthly because I provide it for you. Okay. Also, Ashley and Brianna attended the New Mexico Municipal Clerk School last weekend with us. They came back very energetic. It was very informative. This is the first time they've attended. It's a 3-year program. So hopefully it'll continue, okay? So, but please contact us. Our doors are always open. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Nevares.
Comments?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to comment that I'm very happy that the town is supporting Adelante and Casa de Peregrinos. It's very timely considering what's going on, as you mentioned, the current climate across this country in some parts of the country, pantries and food banks are running out of, money. It's just the high usage. So that's a good move on the part of the town. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee. Trustee Cadena.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Dia de los Muertos and that whole thing. I think it's a great big deal and people really like it. They have a lot of positive feedback about that event.
Yeah.
And of course, the food banks are vital right now.
Anything else?
That's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Our Halloween festival went really well. There was a ton of people. It was really nice to use the newly renovated park. There was a lot of room. It turned out really, really good. It was organized really well. There was a very long line for the haunted house. Thank God, because I didn't want to go in it with Araya. So, but other than that, everything, it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of kids, and it turned out really well.
Oh, good.
Great.
I didn't tell mine. They're only 2 and 1. I'm gonna wait.
What's that?
I'm gonna wait for mine. They're only 2 and 1. It's too much trouble right now.
Anything else?
That's it.
I'm glad you didn't have to wait in line for the haunted house
Yes,
because
thank
I
goodness.
did.
It was long.
It actually moved fairly quickly, and the kids had a blast. So it was very good turnout for that event. On that, we have had several meetings for initial kickoffs for the new programs that we're getting going for the town, being Square 9. As well as the initial kickoff for the new accounting program, getting all of that started and getting those set up. They're going to be extremely valuable tools once we get them going and forward facing, which will hopefully be by the end of the calendar year. I do go to infrastructure conference in Albuquerque next week along with Lorenzo, Eddie. Are you going, Eddie? Right, and Brianna. So we'll be heading up to Albuquerque next week for that majority of the week. It is also locally homecoming week, so make sure you support the Aggies and wear maroon. Throw that out there for sure. So good things there. We do have, as Lorenzo mentioned already, we do have that meeting on Wednesday for New Mexico Department of Transportation, a joint meeting with us and them, as well as EBID and Calaverita, right? The construction group on that. I did help with getting that and calling that meeting because of community concern. And I do want to put out there as a note, and I've tried to address as many comments that have been coming in online because people have been saying with that specifically, well, they're almost done with the project. But I want to remind everyone that the project is not scheduled to be slated to end and be completed until November of 2026, not November of 2025. So we still got another year for this project to be done. While they're making great leeway and progress on what they're working on right now, going down with all of the road infrastructure and sidewalks and everything going in, do believe it's anticipated that a majority of the rest of the time, once they get down to the other end, closer to Main Street, will be spending the time on the railroad tracks, getting that taken care of and creating those crossings for safe crossings, and however that looks. So that will be, well, we're almost close to being done towards this side to having both sides of the road open. And we'll get that update this coming Wednesday. Like I mentioned, this project isn't done until 2026. A big part of what I think is what I'll be bringing up during the meeting, and that is the communication on how this board in specific has moved forward with the trail enhancements and adding that to our ICIP and to our capital listing to do some enhanced trail enhancements along University Avenue, and we'll seek the funding and get the planning done, and to get all of that taken care of, to do whatever the community wants to see. And I think that this upcoming meeting will also help out with a little bit of that initial direction by the community and what's there. Other than that we've already heard that we know we would be requested. So, which is part of the initial kind of exploratory planning in that to get an idea on the funding. So it will help out with that. So, just that in a nutshell. I don't have much of anything else. It's been a very busy couple of weeks all the way around, and we're getting ready for another busy couple of weeks. I do have a bunch coming up as well. I know Eddie's got a lot that we're working on, so we'll get stuff going as he mentioned. So be ready. And with that, if there is no,
Oh, just one more thing.
yes, go ahead.
Taylor, the grand opening.
Oh,
No, the grand
yes.
opening for the Taylor Historic Site is on November 8th for that, and there'll be more information going on that here soon as well. So, all right.
To put it in people's brains.
Yes. And if there is no objection, I will call this meeting as adjourned. The time is now 7:56. Thank you.
Till next time.